Previously on Gears.
It is Wes Elaine right here at Gears, Balls Visual Radio with me, Sasha Martinengo. We're getting into our consumer section where we have a very intricate and detailed situation. So joining us is Pieter van Vuuren. He runs a company called WebBizarre, which is a digital production services company. Pete, great to have you here in the studio. This is one heck of a story that you have.
How are you doing, Sash? Thanks for having me. It's a complicated story, but it's, in its simplest form, it's about a thing called integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity is the thing which means that school books get delivered, or you get the right water bill, or that somebody does what they say. It's about telling the truth and being honest. And in the large corporate world, stuff happens that people do on occasion, which isn't ideal. And if you're a big corporate, the thing to do is to deal with it, fix it up and move on. My experience in dealing with Vodacom has been different to that.
Yeah.
And what took place is that they called me in to have a look at my product, had a look at it, said they want to work with me, and then gave me a runaround. And they gave me a runaround which lasted for 2 years. And when I got to them and I said, listen guys, you need to sort this out because this isn't reasonable. The short answer was, get away. You're too small, we're not interested in talking to you. Now, I pushed this up to Peter Ace's office. And I said, listen, guys, this is what's happening. And they came back to me and said, yeah, we'll sort it out. And then I got given more of a runaround. Till eventually I got in touch with the Vodafone shareholders. And I said, here's an issue here. These guys are not dealing with me reasonably or decently. The Vodafone shareholders didn't respond, but I did get a call from the lawyers from Vodacom the next day saying to me, who do you think you are? And get your stuff off the internet.
Sure.
Most recently, I put together a website. It's got all the details on it.
Yeah.
I sent it through to Vodacom. I sent it through to Vodafone. And I sent it through to, at that time, the MD and CEO, which was Sipho Maseko, who's now left. Sipho called me that evening and he said, hi, you got a problem? I said, yeah. I said, I've been dealing with you guys. It was before your time. I'm trying to get something sorted out. It hasn't been looked at. He said, give me a week. I'll call you back. We'll fix it. Well, I'm still waiting for that call.
Now, Peter, what about the Consumer Protection Act? Now, you being, we understand it from a consumer point of view, but you are, is there no ombudsman? Is there nobody that you can go and take this to assist you? Besides, I suppose, lawyers, which is an incredibly costly, costly, and the fact that you're a small guy trying to take on a massive corporation. It must probably just get, handed down till eventually you run out of money.
I went to the lawyers. I said to them, guys, what's going on with this? What is my situation? Well, the bottom line is I need to start off by putting down about 170,000 Rand before they look at me. And then the time that it will take and the return, it's just not practical for me to do that. The one area where, and I found out relatively recently, was the Competition Commission. And I chatted with the Competition Commission. There's some regulations within the Competition Commission that says if you're a big guy, you need to deal with the little guys in a proper way. You can't shunt them around. The Competition Commission came back to me and said, this thing has been going on for a little bit too long. This is a civil case. You need to go and prosecute them in that way, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah, and incredibly costly. Let's go back a few steps here. I mean, on your website, Show Integrity, it's all there. The story, it's got all your emails, the timeline, your videos that you've made. This product that you had, when you and they sort of verbally agreed and said, we like it, we want to work with you.
Yeah.
Okay, even via email or however it was. Have they adapted anything to utilize what you suggested?
I don't know. I don't deal with them internally. The truth of the matter is that the product isn't any kind of wonderful secret technology. It's
Okay.
multimedia stuff, and its value is in the fact that it's made really well. Using different codecs, I could make a multimedia product that I could send out on a cell phone and broadcast on television. Those different qualities, and as you probably know, you need a different quality for the internet, a different quality for phone, and so on. And it's just very short pieces or nuggets of information that instruct people.
Okay.
The issue around it for me was never the fact that it's some kind of a secret. The issue for me is they took it from me and then they went and handed it to one of their existing large suppliers, not telling me about it. And that's not the deal. You don't go into a large company, let them have a look at your product so that they can take it and hand it off to one of their existing suppliers.
All right, because that's what I'm asking. You never had any kind of patent on it, as you say. It's not as though it's
Correct.
it was something that you said, this is an idea, this is how it can work, this is what I suggest,
I made it.
and you made it,
yeah.
and you showed it to them, they liked it, etc., etc. But then you say they took it, or took the idea.
Took the actual product, the content that I'd given to them, and handed it to their supplier. When I didn't go away, and I kept at them, and I went up all the way to Pieter Ace. After I'd got mixed messages from these guys, they then said to me the strangest thing. They said to me, "We want your product." I said, "Great." I said, "We've got a problem. We can't work with you directly because you're not a registered supplier." I said, "So send me the paperwork. I fill it in. I've got nothing to hide around this. Make me a supplier." The answer was, "This will take more than a year. And we don't have a project manager. So just go through these guys and we'll use your product." This is one of their suppliers. I went to these guys,
Okay.
and there I find, one, the product is there, the one that I made, because I asked them, I said, "Must I send you my stuff?" They said, "No, we've seen it." I said, "What?" I said, "Yeah. Vodacom gave it to us." I said, "Why?" He said, "No, so that we could have a look at it." I said, "I see." And the other thing was that the person in Vodacom, the first product manager who I saw, who said to me, "Yes, we want to take your stuff. Yes, we want 15 of these. Don't take on any more work." She had left Vodacom and was working for the supplier.
Yeah.
Sure. It really sounds a very nasty story. You know, and what I mentioned on the show the other day when I was already promoting that you were going to be here on Wednesday is that we haven't I haven't approached Vodacom as yet, because I think we're going to get your side of the story and then offer them the opportunity to reply. Everything's on your page, so I'm assuming that people within Vodacom have looked at this. But this thing goes back to 2008, Peter.
That's right. First time, that was the first time they invited me to come in
Okay.
and present the product. They'd heard of this via somebody else.
All
and they
right.
called me up and said, "Come in. We want to see this."
Now, this is what I don't understand. If you are not a supplier to them, or preferred supplier, however they term it, how come they invited you in, want your product, but then sit there and say, "Sorry, we can't work with you because you're not on our supplier list"?
There's a lot of stuff around this which smells. Now, in a large corporation, Vodacom have got 10,000 people at least to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people make decisions, some of them good, some of them bad.
Sure.
The real bottom line about this is, as a company, if you make a commitment, which Vodacom has done, to say, we operate at the highest level of business ethics, the highest level of integrity, we are accountable and we are responsible, then you're obliged to deal with this stuff, not brush it away.
Well,
And that's my argument with them, saying, "Listen, guys, stuff has happened which is wrong, it's unpleasant, it's had terrible effects on my life,
yes.
and they're ongoing. They created and started a cycle of debt, and my family's been suffering since then. And I feel a very strong responsibility that if somebody is going to say, I'm a great guy, I'm honest, I do what I say, that they need to do this. And after me, somebody else is going to get caught in this. And I don't want that to happen.
Well, I think that's very admirable, because I mean, unfortunately, you are the person at this stage who has to take the fall for what has happened, and hopefully, as you're saying, warning others to sit there and say, just be careful, make sure everything's crossed. Let's go back. I mean, if somebody says to you, you've got a product, let's say, something, I don't know, a coffee cup, and I go and show it to somebody, and they say to me, okay, listen, we want all of them. Don't do any other work, or don't take any other work, because we want a whole batch of these will come back to you. And that is what I assume happened to you. Now, you put your life on hold, every other opportunity to generate income on hold, on the premise and the promise that you are going to get a deal.
That's exactly what happened. I even turned away clients. The possibility, I run a small business. My money comes from the skills which I have. I work with 3 or 4 other single contractors and agents, guys who are specialists in their field, and we work with one another. I look after one client at a time. My product's always good that I deliver. But if I get a contract with a company like Vodacom or MTN, it takes up all my time, and on what my understanding was of what they wanted, this would have taken about 5 months to 6 months for the first set of work to be done. For a company like me who produces goods like that, I don't work on 17 products at the same time.
Yeah.
So my life was pretty much on hold while that happened. And when I started smelling the rat, and stuff happens within companies, people make mistakes, but when I escalated it, the one thing that I did expect is that the response would be, okay, let's sort this out, as opposed to, forget it, go away, make it go away.
Yeah. I mean, and going through various emails, had somebody, even after this period that you had gone to this new supplier and seen that they actually had your product, had somebody sent you an email going, hi, Mr. Van Vuuren, thanks, we had a look at everything, but unfortunately, as mentioned, we can't use you because you're not a preferred supplier. Thanks for your time. Would that have helped?
Of course it would have helped. Just even a phone call saying, listen, this is where we're at, this is what's taken place, and thanks, but no thanks. But it's messy. When I got an email from a product manager saying, okay, we've had a look at this, thank you very much, we don't need it. That was the day after I'd spoken with her boss, who'd said to me, you know what, we want this thing, everything's fine. Then I called him and I didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
Then I went and got in touch with Peter Ace's office, and then the next day I get a telephone call saying, no, we do want this. We do want to do business with you. So the clarity of the message which came from these guys was lacking. And I can only speculate at what the message behind this or what was taking place. But one thing's for sure, this stuff doesn't follow congruently, and people haven't been doing the right thing and dealing with this properly. Like with any business or any company that I go to, you go and you do a proposal, you have a look at the stuff, you talk about different items, and then you say, shall we move forward or not? And the guys say, yes, we can, or they say, no, thanks. It happens all the time. I'm completely comfortable with that.
Now, your first time you saw them or presented them is 2008, is that correct?
Yeah.
Why has it taken you so long to come up with this? Has this been going on for 5 or 6 years? But you said it was sort of 2 years, and then did you close book on it and then have now reawakened it? Or what have you done that all of a sudden 5 years later you're still saying, hey, listen, I'm not getting any kind of clarity on this?
I carried on with them.
Okay.
I sent off emails to them. I went to the press. I went to the newspapers.
Did you have joy from the press and newspapers?
Not too much. I'm having some joy right now.
Okay.
But at the time, what was said to me off the record was, we don't want to make our biggest advertiser angry with something which is complicated like this and has to do with integrity and ethics.
Fair enough.
This isn't the kind of thing which is as exciting as an athlete shooting his girlfriend.
No, I hear you.
This is got lots of bits and pieces of details on it. The bottom line is this. Vodacom says integrity, responsibility, accountability. I say, show up or take it off your website. It's that simple. And other little companies or people that will deal with them need to know, if you walk in there and you've read the stuff and you believe it, go in with the tape recorder, because you can be in trouble.
Yeah. What do you, I mean, your your message on your page, Show Integrity, is basically looking at that word integrity. What is it? And you basically saying, if that's what you profess to be about, then, as you say, man up, or alternatively, take, as you said, take it off your website and sit there and say, listen, we're going to deal with people the way that we deal with people. How we do it is, unfortunately, could have dire consequences for you.
Integrity is not about the law. Integrity is a set of values and standards which says, in short, I do what I say what I do. I'm an honest person.
Mm-hmm.
Laws aren't about integrity. We have race laws. We have laws in the 1930s that the Nazis put against the Jews. Laws are a controversial thing. Integrity says, I do the right thing. And it's not when I want to. It's like being pregnant. Either you have it or you don't. Now, this statement about Vodacom and their behavior is on the front of their annual report. They give it to their shareholders. It's all over their website. Vodafone have got it and tell people how to behave. And it talks about accountability, responsibility, dealing with people in the right way. My message to them is simple. How much do I have to earn and how important do I have to be before you deal with me in the right way?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that boundary? Who is it for and who's it not? Because in trying to get this thing sorted out, I've watched myself being pushed away constantly by them.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've gone through the website, I've gone through the emails of, the product, it's all there. Pete, besides what you say here and on your website, my choice is clear. If I do nothing, others will find themselves in my position, and by my inaction, I will be partly responsible. What do you want from this website, Show Integrity, and from Vodacom, who you dealt with? What are you looking for? What will appease you and make you sit there and say, okay, that was cool, file 13, now I need to progress, go forward?
Absolutely. Sasha, you and I are no longer very young.
Thanks for reminding me.
If I don't shave, some grey comes out. But the thing that I'm saying is, we're at the point where we got kids. We get to answer the really difficult questions that your friends don't ask you when a child looks at you and says, what does this mean? Or how does this work? And the thing that you do is you try and answer this in the best possible way. And one of the things that most people ideally would like to give their children is a sense of character and a sense of integrity. And around that, you work out and you find out when stuff goes wrong, there's a way of dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
No one talks about it, but it's actually quite simple. The first thing is, say for example, you were playing with a ball in your garden with your son or your daughter, and it goes through the window next door. There's a procedure. There's something that you need to do. The first thing is you go knock on that door and you say, hi, I'm Sasha, I'm your neighbor. I threw that ball. I'm sorry. So it's acknowledgement, following acknowledgement, apology. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. The next thing is, let me have a look to see what happened here. Let me fix this. So make reparations.
Yeah.
I broke your window. I get somebody in. I pay for it. No problem. The next thing after that is fix the relationship. They're your neighbors. The world has to carry on. You've caused them discomfort and inconvenience. You do something to make it right. You buy him a box of wine, her a box of cigars, or whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then the final step around this is you make sure that it doesn't, you take some kind of action that it doesn't happen again. So you don't go to the same place and throw the ball again. And those are the simple things that reasonable and decent people do when stuff happens. And stuff happens all the time.
Sure.
And that's pretty much what I'd like Vodacom to do. And that thing isn't asking them the world. That's just saying, take responsibility, take accountability, sort this out. And take the time to send me an email and to deal with me, as opposed to hoping that I would simply go away because you're very big.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I think it's, getting your side of the story, Peter, and the website is there, showintegrity.co.za. And I will endeavor to get somebody from Vodacom. And I'm going to have to do a bit of research to find out. I've got all your emails here, and perhaps maybe do a trace over there. But get a person who can actually come on and explain their side of the story, or get them to listen to what you've had to say, and perhaps get this solved in the best manner possible.
That'll be great, Sasha. They do have an ethics officer. I'm not quite sure who it is now, but I have sent them all the stuff on a number of occasions, and they've got it.
All right.
I didn't get a comment from them.
All right. Well, there's an ethics officer, so we'll definitely try and get hold of the ethics officer. Pieter, listen, I wish you well, and let's hope we can get finality on this. I think that'll be very important. Get some good closure on it as well, and hopefully in due course, who knows, maybe repair that relationship with them, and hopefully go forward and put this behind us.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Sash, and thanks for your time. I really appreciate being here.
It's a pleasure. There we go. Pieter van Vuuren. Go and check it out. Showintegrity.co.za. Also, if you do have the time, go through it and send me a few of your comments. And we'll definitely try and get someone from Vodacom to come and respond.
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful.
Gears with Sasha Martinengo on bulls.co.za.